we were going to show what was really going on out in the street.
Welcome to Free Colorado News. I'm Ari Armstrong. Recently I interviewed Thomas James, co-founder of People's Press Collective here in Colorado.
2008, we started People's Press Collective for much the same reasons, to provide coverage at the very beginning of the DNC. That was our initiating event, that you weren't going to get on the major media. That they weren't going to tell you the story. They were going to show all the celebrities and the politicians and so on at the Pepsi Center. We were going to show what was really going on out in the street, protests and riots and who knows what, giant papier-mâché heads, the things that the media didn't really want you to see. Michael is still involved because he is the managing editor of BBC and one of the co-founders as well. Yeah, and we're really the business. The two of us are the business behind PPC, and we're working right now to expand PPC's business backside so that we can franchise, so that we can make it a bigger site, more reach. So we're trying to get funding to support ourselves, to support our efforts. So yeah, Michael's still involved, but I don't know that anybody has actually moved on completely. But I think what's happening is actually better, that we're getting people who are bloggers who might have had a smaller audience, we're getting them together, getting them a bigger audience, showing them how to work together so you can share stories, make the stories bigger, make the stories more newsworthy, and getting them experience in writing, so that maybe at some point they could move up to National Review or some major online site, leave the nest, as it were. And I think that would be great. I would be very happy if that happens for somebody. Well, I think the original media, like getting original sources, going to events with cameras, camcorders, doing live events, I think that is our signature thing that nobody else does. You go to the Denver Post, we go to the Tea Party, you might get one picture. We show all kinds of stuff, and that's something that you're not getting from other sources, and that is very important to us. So we try to do that as much as possible when there are events that it's worthy to do that. As for driving the story, that's another thing that we are working on the mechanics of, because the left has shown us how to do that. An excellent example this past election season was the Ken Buck rape prosecution story, and how that was driven by a few progressive bloggers with a bunch of Twitter accounts between them, twittering back and forth to each other, pushing the story to some progressive-leaning websites in Colorado, the Colorado Polls, Colorado Independent, and that buzz getting up to the level of the Denver Post and 9 News and other news organizations, say, hey, maybe there's something here that we should look into. Once that happens, then it took on a life of its own in the major media. And that's happened in a lot of other cases as well around the country. That Jeremiah Wright, Reverend Wright, that whole story was an early example of that on the right. But the left has showed us what they can do with new media. The left has shown us what they can do with story coordination between the different groups, with using new media tools to get stories out there, control the stories, and put things into the media that other people don't really want anybody to know about.
Check out my book about Harry Potter's heroic fight for values at valuesofharrypotter.com.